Hi guys, I'm OP here. I'm a prop trader from Hashedge, and I'm here again to give you daily market analysis and Bitcoin analysis. So let's jump into straight away into the charts. Following my video from yesterday, you can see that Bitcoin USD perpetual, and we are trading on the Hashedge platform. We are still on 85,134,000 USD. And like I said, I've been saying this and beating the same drum over and over. We are still just range bounding, which is kind of boring. I'm sure traders and market participants don't want to hear this over and over again. But I just want to always repeatedly say we are bullish. We are looking primed for a breakout movement, likely to the upside for the near term before we drop down further down, which will be looking at our support at 80,400, which we have indicated here. But we still seem to be above the trend line. But I want to draw your attention directly to we are about going above the 200 EMA moving averages, and we are already above the 50 moving averages that you can see with the yellow line here, and the 200 move EMA is the blue one, and we seem to be right directly on that line. Hopefully this today, tomorrow, we would go above that and confirm support of that, and that shows like we are likely to move up or to the upside in the near term. Looking at the RSI, we look like we are primed to go up here, so everything is looking good for the Bitcoin. But for now, we just stay and wait and watch the market moves and let the market come to us. Moving on to Solana quickly, we are above the 50 MA, and we are not yet above the 200 EMA. On the RSI, we look to be pointing upwards, so expect further movement towards the upper side. I'm looking to take profit around 150, and looking for that for a retest. Probably will get into resistance before we drop back down, and but a lot of bullish fundamental happening for Solana at the moment. As you can see, for Solana, Ivan on Tech is stating that Solana is the lion in compared to it. Solana is much of a faster horse in the race, in a trading race, and much a better L1 in this case, and a better machine. And a lot of users are even using Solana also, and you can see reported by CoinDesk also, even Solana, even despite with the bear market, the current bear market, in the market overall, Solana has not been down. First time wallet users has been rising, and it has been up 58% this year, which is quite bullish for Solana. We move on to XRP. We gave the fundamental news of XRP. XRP2 also has been leading in terms of ETFs applications, in terms of wallet addresses and users on the network. A lot of people have been holding, and still, there's a incredible great XRP army out there of users, of holders of XRP token, and believe in this token. This is a much more institutional bet, XRP. So in this sense, we are holding and we trade it a lot because it tends to move violently and very fast, as you can see with the movement. Looking at it from the chart perspective, we'll also look to be range bounding right now. We are just pretty much at support right now, so we don't know. We just watch the market whether it would confirm the support or break down, and a breakdown we'll be looking towards taking a profit around $1.05, $1.06. At that level, that will be a good level for us to take profit, or to long the market, to long XRP again from that level. Looking at the fear and greed index today, we seem to be in a better position than yesterday, because yesterday we were at 32, but now we are at 37. So people are less fearful, are getting less fearful, which is more greedy in the market, and that shows a slow increasing bullish sentiment is being developed across the markets. Looking at the crypto bubbles and looking at the market overall and the picture today, we see a lot of AI tokens are doing well. So there's a narrative that has been ongoing that I've been trying to highlight in the series of videos I've put over this week. We see a lot of AI tokens, a lot of RWA tokens, a lot of layer ones being bullish at the moment. So that is something for us to look up to, for us to position ourselves in all these tokens, because they'll be the ones that will be able to give us a lot of gains in the near term. Then we see with the news, just following up on the news, on fundamental news and what is going out there, and Bitwise CEO signaling that the mainstream era has started and that institutional interest has been spiked and has been exploding, and they are going to pour a lot of billions into Bitcoin. So we should be prepared for this, and by the end of 2025 people are going to be surprised by how many famous TradFi in the institutions have crypto products and offerings. The work is underway, the mainstream era has started. So this is just giving us a bullish analysis of what is going on, and in the near term or in the near future the Bitcoin price would explode. So we want to position ourselves in all of this before everything comes to fruition. Also, JP Morgan is kind of complementing the news I shared yesterday with the BSI, the Bank of International Settlements, their reports that they released, and is saying that Bitcoin safe haven appeal is crumbling fast, and is signaling a major shift in sentiment, in consumer sentiment and market sentiment, saying that Bitcoin demand is fading, and as gold is capturing much more, because gold is much more perceived as a risk of asset, while Bitcoin is perceived as a risk of asset. So this is what is just going on, and we believe that in the future coming forward, all this will change, because crypto, especially Bitcoin, will be seen as a risk of asset. Looking at it, and Bradley Rettler is saying Bitcoin is digital gold, which we have also said every time, which is unlike anything we have seen. To comparing Bitcoin, the nature of Bitcoin to gold is totally different. Even the supply of gold and Bitcoin supply, because we all know Bitcoin supply is capped at 21 million, but gold supply is infinite. So in that sense, Bitcoin supply would remain, and the price will still skyrocket to match gold's that has been going berserk over the past month and week, and gold has just been hitting all-time high from all-time high, like I've mentioned in previous videos. Then you see Ivan on Tech is also comparing the Bitcoin chart to the S&P 500, which is the index of the top 500 corporations in America, and the chart is always been bullish, and you can see it's been uptrend since 2023, and it shows like it will still be going upwards, upside movement in the near term and in the future. And they are just trying to give us much more bullish analysis, and we are looking at what is going on, that the top is not yet in of Bitcoin. So we remain bullish, we remain positive, and we remain watchful for what the price is doing. Tech Dev is saying that this time is different, just comparing the business cycle, the global business cycle, with Bitcoin's movement and how everything still affects it at the whole. Then looking at it from a global macro perspective, because we always have to take cognizance of what is going on the macroeconomics perspective and the global economics perspective. You see China's M2 supply is increasing, and of course this is going to affect the crypto markets, because once there's a lot of money pumped into the market, where do all of this money goes to? They go to Bitcoin, they go to cryptocurrencies, because cryptocurrencies is the easiest money to move around, not being regulated and not being decentralized. I think is the word, not even regulated. It's being decentralized. The fact that it's decentralized gives it this appeal, this digital gold appeal, and the fact that nobody controls your money. You control the money, and there's no inflation on your money, on your Bitcoin supply. So once we have much more demand and the supply is capped, what happens to the price? The price will skyrocket. So this is just the same thing Michael Saylor is just saying, and just showing us an overview of the M2 supply in one of the 4 big bag countries all over the world. And these are the G7. They are part of the G7: US, Japan, China, and Euros, which is the whole basket of the European countries, showing that the M2 supply. So all of these guys are printing money into oblivion. Where does this money go to? Bitcoin. And it gets to Bitcoin, and it increases the price of Bitcoin. So in the near term, we see all of that coming to fruition very, very soon. Then we see, speaking of of Trump, the US, France, and all global monetary supply and fiat currencies. We see France is just commenting. Their minister of finance, I believe, commented regarding the US dollar and regarding Trump and what he's trying to do with Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell, and on Trump trying to fire the Federal Chair Jerome Powell. France is just saying that the US dollar will lose credibility if President Trump fires him. And this is speaking to yesterday. I commented on this, and everyone is just saying their 2 cents on the matter and just giving their own perspective. Then we just go to a broader macro view, and we look at macro analysis of what is going on in the global economy, so that we use that as a perspective to be able to draw down in and to be able to funnel in to understand what is happening with money and what we are dealing with and where we are interested in, which is cryptocurrencies and especially Bitcoin. Dalio here is one of the one of the, I think even the biggest investment hedge funds, investment funds in the world. I believe Bridgewater Capital, and he has written a number of books. He gives a lot of podcasts, and he gives a lot of thought analysis on the nature of the global economy and where we are going to. In fact, he has a very, very good book, which is a good read. I forget at the moment, but it's a very, very good read. I suggest it's something we should all pay attention to and always listen to his analysis, because it's always right on the money. I best we listen to what he's about to say in the video.
I think that right now we are at a decision-making point and very close to a recession. And I'm worried about something worse than a recession if this isn't handled well. A recession is 2 negative quarters of GDP, and whether it goes slightly there, we always have those things. We have something that's much more profound. We have a breaking down of the monetary order. We are going to change the monetary order because we cannot spend the amounts of money, so we have that problem. And when we talk about the dollar and we talk about tariffs, we have that. We are having profound changes in our domestic order, how ruling is existing, and we're having profound changes in the world order. Such times are very much like the 1930s. I've studied history, and this repeats over and over again. So if you take tariffs, if you take debt, if you take the rising power challenging the existing power, if you take those factors and look at the factors, those changes in the orders, the systems, are very, very disruptive. How that's handled could produce something that is much worse than a recession. I think.
So it's quite interesting to look at it from his perspective. He's saying something worse than a recession is coming, a breakdown of the monetary system of global economy, and he sees that coming on. Of course, all of us see that. That's why we are interested in this system, and what are we speculating on, and what are we banking on? Bitcoin. That is going to be a replacement. He sees a breakdown of the system, a change of the monetary order. But he didn't specify, and he didn't mention what is it changing to. What is changing to? I believe, and a lot of us believe, cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin is going to be number one. There's a lot of money to be made. When there's a breakdown, there's going to be something going to replace this breakdown. It is right here for us to take advantage of this breakdown. When something breaks down, something is going to come up. That is a trade right there. That's why we are here every day, to make sure we take advantage of all of this. Just going further, we look at Charles Hoskinson, the founder, he was one of the leading devs of Ethereum, and further went on from Ethereum. Charles Hoskinson went on further from Ethereum to found Cardano, and he also has some bullish sentiment just to leave us with in this video.
The new laws that are being passed, like the market structure bill and the stablecoin bill in the United States, and where MiCA is solidifying, what's going to end up happening is the big guys, the Magnificent Seven, are going to come into crypto, and that's going to bring 3 billion users into crypto. You're going to have cryptocurrency wallet in your Android phone. You're going to have a cryptocurrency wallet in your iPhone. You're going to have a cryptocurrency wallet in Windows, and they're going to be using stablecoins. It's not because Papa Satya over at Microsoft is like, boy, I love crypto. It's he hates paying fees. If you're Microsoft, you got people in 150 countries, and you hate some local bank in Bangladesh or Pakistan or someplace charges you 5% here or 10% here. You want to get rid of that whole thing. So why not pay them in stable coins, windows to windows, and you're your own bank. Plus, if they're issuing that token, they can wake up just like Tether does and get $20-30 billion a year in yield from treasury bills. The new laws that are being passed, like the market.
So this is quite interesting. He is also saying a lot of laws will be passed, crypto registration will be passed, which will bring about 3 billion users into crypto and into the network. This is where we are going to take advantage. Like I mentioned earlier, Ray Dalio has also said it. There's going to be a breakdown in the monetary order that would envisage and will be it will happen before, it will precede a change in the system. A change is when there's a breakdown, like I said, there's going to be a change. Something is going to come up. A breakdown, something goes down, something is going to come up. Now there's a trade between that down of something breaking and something coming up. There's a trade right there. They trade, and 3 billion people are going to be injected into the system. 3 billion people with money. We as traders, we make sure we are positioned once it breaks down, and we ride that up with 3 billion people. That's why we are here to trade. We are here to trade, to take advantage of all this and make billions of dollars. There's money to be made, and that's why we are here. Zero to Ferrari. We are going to make it. Let's go. Bye.